Hello, good afternoon. Happy Thursday. We are here live today with I'm Lisa Filter with This Magic Moment Bridal Studio with my business partner, Michelle Rathmel. And we are bringing one amazing and incredible guest with us, Tracy Brien of Tracy Brien Photography. Thanks, Tracy, for joining us.
You're welcome.
We are so happy to have you here. And before this is over, she's going to have to show her beautiful wall behind her. Anyone that has kids or will have kids down the road, you have to do this. So I'm going to let her, I won't steal all her thunder there. I'm in love with it. We have known Tracy probably since we first started, when we were doing our wedding sales and pop-ups.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And videoed some of our brides getting in dresses, and it turned into not only a business relationship, but a friendship. Tracy's done some photos of me and my children and just adore you. You're the best. And her pictures are amazing. So we hope that you will take the time to go look at her website, go look at her Facebook page and see all the beautiful photography that she does. And if you're a bride looking for a photographer, she's a great place to start. So, but let's do, we're going to let Tracy answer some questions for us. And if you have any questions that come down the road while we're going through this online vendor time, put them in the comments and I should be able to see them. And if for some reason we don't get to your questions, we'll have Tracy get to them later on in the afternoon or tomorrow or the next day. We'll leave it open for a while and you can always answer questions from her. We'll put her information and contact stuff there too, so that you can get to her. So, okay, let me open up the comments so I can see them. But all right, Tracy, let's just tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got started and about your family and all that great stuff.
I'm Tracy, and I started doing this in college. I started taking some photography classes, found out quickly that this is what my passion was. I was also studying graphic design at the same time, but started working with another photographer on how to do weddings, she was my mentor and took me under her wing and showed how to shoot a wedding. Took me with her and learned quickly that you need to be an outgoing person, which I thrive on and love. That's why I love doing this so much. I'm a go-getter. I'm loud. I can be bossy, which is no surprise. My 5-year-old takes after me a little bit. But
well, the mother first works.
In this industry, you kind of have to be. But I love people. And so I graduated college with a graphic design degree and quickly realized it's not what I wanted to do. So I started my own business in 2007 and here I am. 3 kids later, we built a home so that I could actually have a studio in my house. I also do portrait photography. So that is a dream also, and kind of nice to walk down from my bedroom and go into my studio and,
which I will vouch. I've been to your
when I want.
And it is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Floors. She's got so many different backdrops. It is an amazing location to do if you can't be, if you have to be inside.
Yeah. I mean, I do like outdoor photography. I love natural lighting, but to have a studio in my house gives that other option. And with little kids, and I'm obsessed with the backdrops. It's crazy. So it's a nice option to have. But, and the weddings, I still, after all these years, I still love it just as much as the first day I did it. So it's a good problem to have. A lot of people say that, photographers get burnt out. I don't. I still love it just as much as the first wedding I did.
Awesome. Awesome.
From the entrepreneurial point of view, you've lasted a while in this business. You said 2007 you opened up. So you were open during the crash of real estate when a lot of people were changing up their jobs, and you survived through that.
Yeah.
And now here we are in a different type of survival mode. You're going to survive through this too. You have a comment. Nicole says, hi, my beautiful friend, she says. So there you go, Nicole. And I know that you're super resilient in this. You've proven the test of time. You're here, you're in it. You're not just a fly-by-night photographer. You've been doing this a while.
And I think my passion has a lot to do with that. And I'm not bragging or anything, but I think you have to have the personality and the willingness to do it. And I still do. And as long as I still have the passion, I'm not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. And it shows through in your photography. Hands down, no doubt.
Thank you.
So, we had done a little bit of questions beforehand, so let's just talk about our brides now.
Yeah.
What and brides looking for their photographer. And one thing that you had brought out was about personalities matching up.
Yes.
A little bit more on that one.
I think it's key. I think you have to meet your photographer in a digital age where, we used to meet for consultations all the time. And now it's either I met you at a bridal show or word of mouth. Let's just talk over the phone and then eventually we'll meet, which is fine. I mean, that's today's world. But I think it's crucial that you actually meet and sit down and have a one-on-one. Your personalities have to mesh. And I mean, I've met other brides where their personality was not like mine. And it didn't cause a problem, but it was just different. I had to set my expectations differently. But it's crucial to know your photographer. You spend the entire day with your photographer, literally from the moment you don't have any makeup on until your makeup wears off at the end of the night. You're with your photographer. More so than even your wedding planner, if you have one, because the wedding planner kind of goes off into the distance and runs things behind the show. But I'm the one that keeps it going.
You're with the bride and the groom the whole
day.
Yeah.
I always tell them, I said, you'll be sick of me by the end of the day or not. I'm very fortunate to leave a lot of weddings having made friends, and I still keep in touch with them, and I photograph them having babies and growing their families, and nothing makes me happier than to form that kind of bond.
Yeah.
Or just
you become their best friend too there, because I don't know if this was even in all of our stuff that we were talking about before, but I will never forget you saying that you carry an emergency kit with you.
Oh yeah, I do.
And because sometimes the bustle gets stepped on.
Oh, I have paper clips or paper clips.
Fix it.
Safety pins. I now carry a crochet needle because a lot of people with the button-up dresses they have fake fingernails. You can't button up dress with fake fingernails, so I carry a crochet hook. I bring it all with me because if somebody else doesn't have it, then I'm not going to have them, flop around without it.
You're doing more than photography. You're doing things to cause the stress level to go down, for the fun to remain.
Yes.
And that's huge. That is gigantic.
Part of my goal as well is because, a lot of people don't do a day of coordinator anymore. And so by default, it kind of falls on my shoulder. I kind of love it as well. I don't mind doing it. If I didn't do this, I would probably be a wedding planner. But if a bride sometimes, and I've seen it, will put her makeup on and then realize this just got real and will either have a panic attack or somebody will text message her and she goes into a whirlwind. I don't want that to happen. Let me take the stress off. Let me help you. I got you. Like, this is not something you have to worry about.
Right. Okay. So you had, I kind of detoured on that, but that was so important. I thought, I love that part of you. So you talked about getting to know your photographer, and with today's changes now, we might be doing more of these streamings and Zoom to meet. So at least you can kind of meet, but it is definitely there's
face-to-face
about face-to-face. And so you talked about another thing of a great way of meeting each other through your engagement photos too.
Yes, I highly recommend it. Not everybody wants an engagement session anymore, but I always do recommend it because it's crucial. You get to learn the couple, the bride and the groom. Some groom don't want their picture taken at all, or they don't care and the bride drags him. Some people are super lovey-dovey and PDA doesn't bother them, and others are, here's a peck, that's all I'm giving you. It's important to learn that before the wedding day, because I don't want the wedding day to be awkward if I'm just finding out that the groom doesn't like to have his photo taken. Or, a lot of grooms will default to the bride. This is her day. Well, no, this is about you too, and I want you to feel comfortable. So it's important to learn their style along with my style, just to, break the ice, so to speak, before the big day.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So next you went in sharing a little bit more about, share some tips about posing and about how you stand, or how to make sure you keep your eyes open. I'm one that shuts my eyes a lot. And where there's a side of me that when I take pictures, that I look skinnier in than the other side.
Well, so always, if you have a better side or not, tell your photographer. That's important. That's important to know. Speaking of important sides, a tip is for posing. I will default to the bride's hair a lot, and I know that sounds funny, but a lot of time brides will wear their hair all on one side. down in, ponytail or whatever it is. Well, if you do that, then the bride has to turn the opposite direction or else her hair is going to block her face. So if you have a better side, tell your hairstylist and put your hair accordingly. That's, I've encountered that before where a bride had her hair all on one side of her head. And then when she walked down the aisle, she faced the groom and I couldn't see her face at all because it was all hair. I didn't see her face one time during the ceremony.
Oh,
and it was just,
Oh, wow.
she was so gorgeous. But that's stuff that you need to think about ahead of time. Posing, you have to be comfortable in your pose. Now, I tell people if you're uncomfortable, you're probably doing it right, because oftentimes I will put you in a little bit of an uncomfortable pose because it looks good. Just if it feels awkward, you're doing it right. But the posing is important if you, I don't like the prom poses. I try and mix it up a little bit. So, back to back or stomach to stomach. I like to have a lot of fun with my couples. But again, that is your personality. If a couple doesn't want that, I need to know ahead of time so I can pose them accordingly. I love pose pictures. Some of them are important just to look in the camera every once in a while, but I love the candids just as much, and the romance. And there's a little acting that is involved in your posing your pictures. And sometimes I'll have the groom whisper something sweet in her ear just to get that natural smile, because there's nothing better than, a joke or, play a game with them to get them to smile naturally. And that's important. Another photographer taught me a couple of those tips. So that's one of my favorites as well.
Awesome.
I love that you're sharing some of your favorite moments like that, because even with us in the studio, we get to see those little moments of like connection and spark, right? And it ignites our passion even more to keep going forth and trying to do the best job for them. Yeah. When you can actually see that reaction of love or passion. Yes. That's why I always wanted to share their engagement story. Tell me about your significant other. How did you get together?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be taking a lot of things you're saying right now back into the appointments. It just makes us better to know what's happening on all levels.
When a bride and groom are truly connected, there's two type of couples, in my opinion. The couple, and I'll divert a little bit, sorry. The couple who is together their entire wedding day, and this is about us, we're so in love. And then there's the couple who, we just want to party, but they're not together on the dance floor, and I, kind of have to force them to be together for pictures. Nothing, like you said, sparks the love more than that genuine couple who just can't keep their hands off each other, and that romance. Like, that's what keeps my fuel fired, so to speak. So I love that.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, tell us a little bit about what helps you out when you work with your couples. And I think the big thing is the timeline.
Oh, the timeline I'm neurotic about. I know a lot of people will do a timeline with a coordinator or whatnot, and that's fine. But there's a lot of things that go into the photography aspect that people don't think about. Number one is travel. We have an hour for pictures. And if you're in two different locations, then you lost half your time traveling to that location. My biggest tip, and a lot of bridal parties either like it or don't like it. The brides always thank me at the end of the day. The bridal party yells at me. If you have a limo, you have a drink in the limo and you leave your drinks in the limo, because that will cut down time tremendously. If I don't have to fight with people, put your beer down, put your glass down. Let's just do these pictures, and then I will dismiss the bridal party to get back in the limo and continue drinking. But
there's priorities there.
it kills the time, but that's something
I agree. But
hair and makeup will always go longer than anticipated. I always buffer in 15 to 20 minutes on my timeline just in case. Bustling the dress always takes longer, especially if your maid of honor is from out of town and she's never bustled a dress before. And it'll be fine. You know this. I don't have to tell you guys.
It's easy, just a couple buttons.
Yeah, just a couple buttons. 17 later.
You actually handle it a lot more than we do.
Yeah. And I'm usually the one that helps with the bustle, because if somebody doesn't know how to do it, I've seen so many of them that I'm the one helping.
Yeah, you're a pro. You
are. At this point.
Do you assess that when you see the dress for the first time, how hard the bustle's going to be?
Absolutely. I usually ask when the dress is hanging on that hanger. I usually look as I'm taking the pictures subtly, like, what do we got going on under here? Or I'll assess, like, your bridesmaid, did she go to your fittings with you? Or did your mom go?
Okay, that's a big one. That's going to take some time to bustle.
Yeah, the best bustle I ever saw was a tremendous amount of bustles, and it was, I guess, an under bustle, but they were all color coded. So
nice.
This line was red, this one was red, and you matched them up, and it was the best ever. But yeah, so I totally assess that too. But the timeline, back to that, it's crucial for me to go over it, and I always work backwards on it. So I basically tell them, okay, you need to be done with your hair and makeup by this time. You need to start photos at this time. So then they can go tell their makeup artist, I need to be done by this time. And they can work on that timeline with them. Because that's, obviously the first part of the day is hair and makeup, but you need to be ready to go. Which is another tip that I have. I always tell them, the bridesmaids and the parents or whoever is with you during the day, I have them get dressed first so that the bride is absolutely last. And as soon as she's done, first of all, it makes the pictures look better if the bridal party is in their dresses. And then as soon as the bride is done, zipped, buttoned, whatever, we're ready to start pictures immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and with you following the bride all day long, it's so important that you are actually leading the whole schedule.
Yes, I am.
The wedding planner has to work with you. The caterer has to work with you. The venue has to work with you, because you're basically in charge of making sure that this all happens and executes in a time.
And I'm not going to be blamed for being late. I will not be the photographer that starts a reception 30 minutes or an hour late because I don't have it under control. And that's usually when I get loud and I get assertive. If you want to call it bossy, that's fine. I'm always nice about it, but that's the number one compliment at the end of the day that I normally get is thank you for taking control. We needed that. Everybody was doing what they wanted. And that's my job. I take it seriously. Now I laugh about it. I make jokes about it, and I'll call out the one groomsman who is, being snarky, and I'll give it right back to him. But that's what I love to do, because I'm not mean about it. It's just what needs to be done.
Well, and if you're 30 minutes late for dinner, that means people needed to drink more and didn't get fed.
Yeah.
The bar has to stay open longer.
Yeah.
People are starving.
And you have to extend the reception, or you lose dance time on the floor. And that isn't going to happen on my watch.
Yeah. Good.
A lot of times you have 30 minutes in a church. That ceremony's over, and those little church ladies rush you out of there like nobody's business. And it's my job to keep things moving. I always give a name checklist so I know exactly how many people I'm dealing with for family photos. Family dynamics, super important to tell your photographer.
Yes.
That's another tip. I've had some very awkward situations. If your parents are divorced and don't want to be in pictures together, I need to know that. If you have, we had 7 parents at my wedding, between everybody. So if you need to do 2 sets of pictures, that takes up time. I need to know ahead of time. So I plan, and I will call out names and delegate maybe one bridesmaid. Hey, Aunt so-and-so is out in the hallway. Can you go grab her while I'm doing this? And to keep the show moving, you cannot stop.
Yeah. And like those churches, they are letting you only in for a short period of time. And if you miss those pictures on the altar or the places that you want, you can't get them.
No, you're right.
Do you have homework for your brides to do beforehand to tell you these like intimate details of family structure or?
Yep. I always meet with them. Now I'll meet with them ahead of time and I'll give them their name checklist. I don't need that until it gets closer to the wedding. But prior to the wedding, when we do timeline, I will, and it can be a phone consultation if we've met them, I will go over the name checklist. I will ask them, please tell me if there's any dynamics or if you have step parents or any people who don't want to be in pictures together, and ask them what they want. If there's additional people, godparents or whatnot, that might not be on my checklist, this is all stuff we need to do. And I make sure that their homework is to tell the people that are in the photos what to do. Usually the parents who will stop and mingle, and I tell them, they're going to cocktail hour. They get to play with, and talk with all of their bosses and friends there. This is picture time. Tell them to walk down the aisle, turn around and walk back up. We discuss if there's a receiving line, you can't be chatty. You have to, hi, thank you for coming. Hi, thank you for coming, and keep moving. Hi, thank you for coming. There's not enough time for a receiving line, and that's where the timeline comes in. If parents really want it, and we'll make it happen, but then there are strict rules to, you can't get chatty. You have to just keep going.
Yeah. Chatties later.
Yeah. Yep.
Looking through some of the things we talked about, I think one key thing in today's world to talk about is everyone carrying their cell phones.
Oh, my favorite.
Everyone's a photographer now, right?
Nothing hurts me more. And it's not just the iPhone, it's grandma with the iPad.
The bigger one.
Oh.
when you walk down the aisle. And so I always get the bride walking towards me. I usually stand halfway up, get her and her dad walking towards me, quickly duck into a row, turn around, and get the back of her dress walking up. When everybody's cell phones goes up or into the aisle, right in my picture. And I save those. Like, I'll take the pictures. I won't give it to the bride, but I save them like in personal file for look at just the craziness.
Yeah, look at this mayhem here.
You are paying a professional photographer to take professional pictures. Please have a, cell phone free ceremony and trust that the photographer will get the pictures. Everybody wants to post on Facebook immediately. I'm guilty of it. I get it. You can take a handful of pictures outside with a cell phone to post, change your status, whatever it is. During the ceremony, that's about your wedding, period. Like, I still think that is a sacred moment, whether it's indoor, outdoor, whatever. Just tell people to turn their cell phones off. Same with the flash. A lot of people don't have actual cameras anymore, but I don't use flash photography during ceremonies because I think it's a distraction unless I absolutely have to. They shouldn't be allowed to either if it's a distraction. I just think it's not necessary.
Well, it messes up your photography too.
Absolutely. Yep.
Going off.
Trust that you hired a photographer. They know what they're doing. And I promise you'll get your pictures quickly.
Yes. So
I have a feeling that after this, we're going to see a lot of people connecting a little bit more intimately after this.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see less cell phones out. Yeah. I had to drive to the pharmacy today before this and watch people on their phone in the car.
Yeah.
Everybody was looking around.
Yeah.
Nobody had a phone out. So I have a feeling that we're going to be connecting a little bit more. So I think what you're offering these brides, yeah, I hope so too. And it's going to be, everyone's going to want the picture, want the memories. So here we are.
Yeah. And the photography is, I get it. It is besides your marriage, obviously, that's what you have at the end of the day. Your wedding day is one day. Your marriage is forever. I'm going to give that bride and groom the photography and the photos that they're going to share with their kids. That is my number one favorite thing in the whole world, is like that romance of it, that you're going to show these pictures to your children and their children and your album and everything. My video is still today, hands down, one of my favorite things ever. And that's what you have at the end of the day. So trust that you'll get your photos. It might take a little bit longer than your cell phone shot, but they will be way better.
They'll be worth it. Yeah, absolutely. And you can make them in any size, dimension, any picture frame you need. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. All right. So a couple things that I see too is a couple tips that you had was about the guys with their cell phones in their
my second pet peeve. So you don't need to have your cell phone. First of all, if you're in the wedding party, put your cell phone down. It doesn't need to be there. If a guy can hold it in his jacket pocket without seeing it, fine. Do not put it in your front pocket. I have to Photoshop out so many times that rectangle of the tux, because a lot of times the tuxes are form-fitting and all you see is the rectangle phone in your pocket.
You don't they don't think about it, but
and I usually pick up on it. But if it's a fast wedding that is just go, 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 and I don't have time to look at that minor detail, just please. And I usually say so ahead of time, but a lot of the grooms don't listen. And so I have to Photoshop that out later. So it would just make it a lot easier if you just leave your phone with somebody else for the day, or, in the limo, or, whatever, in your bag, but the phone's out of your pockets.
Okay. So enough of the phones. You got it. But it's so key. And then
I can assume
time from, doing all these other things and causing, more time to get the pictures ready.
Yep.
So the last thing I saw too.
I can assume that probably, go ahead. It's so funny how we kind of I have to raise my hand. I can assume that probably the pocket and wedding dresses are causing itchies for you also.
Actually,
photography. I would think that you're probably pull your hands. I know that's good, because we pre-warned them. We're take your hands off.
You can't have your cell phone in there. Nothing in there.
You can a chapstick or a lipstick or something like that. A bridesmaid dress with a pocket, you can usually see the phone, but those dresses are usually a little bit flowier. So if they are in there and I don't notice it a whole lot, but every once in a while, if your dress has pockets, because I'm guilty, I love a dress with pockets, it is a cute photo to have your hands in the pocket. But as long as there's not bulky stuff in there that's going to add to it, then so be it.
I know brides love pockets. They come out and they squeal. They're like,
oh, I know.
everyone squeals. They all love it. So I know. And a lot of the bridesmaids A-line dresses are coming with pockets too.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes them super, super happy.
I know, I'm guilty. I totally buy a dress just for the pockets.
I know. So
me too.
Yeah.
All right. So quickly, you had a couple other tips as far as like when you show up to make sure, like for that picture with your shoes, your rings.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned in there about a hanger.
Oh, no offense. I hate the plastic hanger. Drives me crazy. And the bustle, the cardboard bustle that goes in the top of the dress. I have a hanger that I come with. It's a wooden hanger and it says bride. So if you don't buy a hanger that says Mrs. So-and-so, or, you don't have to. A lot of brides do nowadays, but I always ask that as well in my phone consult before the wedding. Do you have a hanger? Do you want me to bring mine? The plastic hanger just can make such a gorgeous dress. It just cheapens it and makes it look, because it's a plastic hanger.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know, one extra step to make it more beautiful.
Yeah, you're tuned in on the fine details, and that's so important for lifetime memories. So
I wouldn't want to show a dress to somebody and say, "Oh, look at that plastic hanger. It just wah."
Yeah. Yeah.
So the details, the invitations, that's what I do the first thing when I show up. Assess the situation, obviously, like how's it going? What's our timeline? Are we running late? What's happening? Did you eat? Have you had water more than just, a mimosa? And then I start in on the details immediately, because usually the hair and makeup are still getting done at that point. So that's when I like to do the invitation, the details, the earrings, if you have perfume, the shoes, that little trinket from grandma or something. And I will take it and kind of go in the other room. The rings, I always ask the bride, if possible, to have all of the rings, because I like that with the invitation. And then we'll give it to the best man later. But that composite shot, kind of looking down on all the details, because that's not something that anybody else is really going to remember from that day. But I want the bride and groom to remember, this is what my invitation looked like. This is all the effort that we put into this. And, oh, look at my grandma's earrings that I'm wearing. That kind of, detail that a lot of people skip over. The wedding party is not going to ever notice that, or the, guests aren't going to notice that was grandpa's penny in your shoe or something.
Right.
So that's what I want to.
But the bride wants to remember that forever.
Yeah. And then the dress, and I'll start on the dress. So I always ask that it's hanging. I'll bring my hanger if they need it, but, photograph the front of it, the back of it, the details. And, I love some of those dress shots. They're some of my favorites.
I know, they're so pretty. The dress is such an important event. We know that.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, and that it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that, and you only wear it once, so you need to capture it.
Yeah.
So
I wore it twice.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my favorite part.
Put it back on. It fits. Huge accomplishment. So, okay. So, let's just go into, because of the coronavirus, unfortunately, we have some brides that are having to reschedule.
Yeah.
And postpone their weddings. And we've seen lots of brides, and I've talked to them, and they're a nervous wreck. They've had lots of tears.
Yeah.
And some of them are still waiting and waiting and hoping and hoping. And others have just said, I'm done. I'm postponing. I'm rescheduling. I'm getting on someone's books later on. Yeah. They're not canceled. They're
not canceled. Exactly.
It is just a date.
Yep.
But give them some tips about if they do decide that they're going to postpone their wedding and reschedule.
Yeah. Contact your vendors immediately, because there's going to be a number of bride and grooms that are, unfortunately. So it's going to be kind of a who has the date available. And hopefully if you fall in love with your vendors and you already have that relationship with them, that they will be available. If they're not, then obviously we'll work with you and refer others, or, our community, we're all in the same boat. So we're all going to help each other out. It is, like you said, just a date. You're still with each other. You're still going to get married. Eye on the prize. You're still in love. It's just a date. But you need to contact the vendors immediately, and maybe think outside the box as far as a day, maybe a Sunday instead of a Saturday, or, a Friday instead of a Saturday. Many venues are going to work with you as well, so that to make it accommodating for you.
Yes. Very important, and definitely contact your vendors and try to get some of the dates and see if you can keep as many as you can as you work with your venue or find a different venue if you need to change the location.
Yeah.
So those are all key important things, but your venue, it's a matter of communication.
100% sooner than later. Your venue is obviously going to be number one. DJ and photographer, I would say, are right up there with number 2 and 3. Any of the big ones, florists, you'll get to them. They all often do more than one wedding at a time. But the vendors that do one wedding per day are the ones that you really need to contact immediately.
Yeah.
And like I said, the community is fantastic, and we're all gonna help out as much as we can and do everything that we can. And if we're not available, we'll find you somebody else who is.
Right. The bridal community nationwide is amazing. The contacts, we're on groups that we know vendors from all over the nation a lot of times. And especially here in Western Pennsylvania, people are good people here.
We are. Yeah.
We're really here to help everybody out. And we know how important this day is for brides. And we just want to try to relieve as much stress as possible and let the love come through, let the fun come through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's still fun. You gotta, it is what it is. At this point, you gotta roll with the punches. Someday, maybe you'll laugh about it. It's no different than other.
There's blessings in all.
Yeah, I mean, other venues have closed. Look at what a couple months ago with Noah's closing, and those brides, found other venues, and other vendors jumped into place and said, "Here, we're available. We'll help you." So it's.
Yep. Well, our last interview was with Kelsey, a bride who had Noah's place.
Yeah.
A bunch of money. Mm-hmm. She was a May wedding. She ended up using 12 Oaks Mansion. She's moving it to November.
Right.
And the one blessing that I remember her talking about was because of the money that she lost with Noah's, if they would have gotten any sooner of a date, they lost their money for their honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
Now that it's November, they're going to be able to save up and do a honeymoon.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And there were a few people that couldn't come, and now they're going to be able to come. So
silver lining.
We just take a moment, take a deep breath, and just relax.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
It stinks for everybody. They're not in it alone. If this has to happen, there are communities, Facebook communities out there, groups that you can talk to if you just need to vent or whatnot. And not that makes it any better, but knowing that you're not alone might help a little bit, and eye on the prize is what I say.
I think we're all on a common ground right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in a common ground right now. We all are at the same starting place.
Yep.
And when we come out of this, I feel like we're just going to have a little bit more patience for moving things around, being a little bit more open with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Most definitely. All right, Tracy, is there any other last words of wisdom you have?
No, I don't think
so. This was awesome.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
So awesome. Thank you for joining us. I hope brides
I'm going to jump out of the
see this and realize that there's such great information and value in here. And that I hope if there's a bride out there and you have not found your wedding photographer or you're looking for someone, please contact Tracy Brien. Look at Tracy Brien Photography. We'll put all the information in the comments.
My 5-year-old is sharpening a pencil. Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, but yes, we're all here to help each other. And there she is.
Yeah.
All right, before we leave, show them your wall. Show them.
Yes. So here is my.
Yeah, here. Knock me out of the picture, Lisa, so she can see it big.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
So this is her wall. All of her children's artwork. So anyone that has kids, some of our brides do have children. Look at all of that she's put together. Is that the most beautiful backdrop ever?
Oh, and there's an 8-year-old.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
One of my artists.
So yeah, it's time for this. These are the great DIY projects to start now.
Now's the time to do it.
And any brides that have gotten married, you could do this wall of your wedding and
gallery wall of your wedding photos,
and when you first met, and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Tracy, thank you for joining us. You have been such a joy today, and everyone have a wonderful day out there. And just so that everybody knows, we are here for you. Tracy is here for you. Ask us questions. We didn't get any questions through this because I think we've given so much great information. But if you have questions, put them in there and we'll make sure we address them to you. If you have private questions that you need to answer, DM any of us and we'll make sure we get back to you. But we're wishing everyone a safe and healthy day. Stay in if you can. And we love you all. And thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Tracy. Bye.